Now, you're saying the 5-minute estimation that you made was an estimation from the time at which the two intruders got into the house up until the point at which you went out of the door, not so?
The 5 minutes okhulume ngayo ke uthi ubuqagela nje ukuthi kusukela ngesikhathi laba bawu2 bengena kwaze kwayisikhathi la wena ke usuphuma endlini.
Yeah, I said less than 5 minutes.
Yes, I said less than 5 minutes.
And at that point, actually before you went out of the house, it was at a time at which you met Senzo, who was going a direction that was an opposite one to the one at which you were going. In other words, he was going into the greater portion of the house when you were walking out of the house.
Ila uhlangana khona no Senzo yena esengenela ngaphakathi endlini wena uphumela ngaphandle.
Yebo.
Yes.
Will I then be correct to say that at that point in time, the tussle or the skirmishness that you testified so deeply about it was no longer there?
Leso scaffold leso ke bese singasekho ke manje ngathi kwenzeka lokho.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you don't know whether after you had left the house they regrouped and the skirmishness started again?
Awazi ke noma umusuphumileke wena endlini baphinde bahlangana futhi kwaphinda ke kwanescaffold futhi awukwazi ngoba ubuphumile endlini ngithi.
Cha ngikwazi ukuba ngisengaphandle.
No, I don't know because I was outside.
Thank you, sir. You went to the Ngashes. We are told that the family that you went into is the Ngashes and that's not in dispute. Excuse me?
Ngache.
Yes, the Ngashes.
Ngache. NGC Ngache.
I was going to pronounce that. So I understand. I hear what you are saying.
I hear what you're saying.
Thank you, sir. You went into the yard and then you came back.
Yes.
Yebo kunjalo.
Now, when you came back, am I right to have understood you that when you came back, you found Senzo at a particular point in the house?
Umusubuya ke ila uthi khona ke kunendawo thizeni endlini ke manje la owamthola uSenzo leli khona.
Yebo.
Yes.
And as you were busy trying to find out what is happening with him, you heard some bang from one of the doors. You went to the door and then it was Mr. Madlala. You assisted him to get out of that room and then you went back to Senzo.
Wezwa ke ukuthi kunomsindo khona kwesikhathi esithize waya ke wathola ukuthi uTumelo wamsiza ke nabuyela kuSenzo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, in relation to the house, and I'm going to request that probably the dining room situation of the house as a whole, or the sketch plan of the house be flighted. Now, excuse me, sir. Sketch plan. Let's go to the sketch plan. Now, there is something that I'm going to request you to clarify this court on in relation to the aspect that I've asked you about. Now, I assume that when you came back from the Ngashes, you used the very same door that you used to go out of the door, which is the main kitchen door, not so?
Ngicabanga ukuthi uma usubuyeke ubuya kwaNgache usebenzise sona ke stapa lesi owuphume ngaso ukuthi uphinde ubuyele phakathi endlini.
Yebo, ngisebenzisa sona.
That's correct. I use the same door.
Then you are into the house exactly when you came back. Who was the first person that you saw when you get into the house?
Uma usubuya ke ubantu oqala owahlangana naye ke uma usubuya manje ubuya kwaNgache ubani umuntu oqala owahlangana naye lapha endlini?
uMakheli.
Kelly's mother.
Where did you meet her?
Kuphi nendawo?
Ngaphandle ngasemnyango lo kitchen.
Outside close to the kitchen door.
Okay, thanks. She's outside the house. Let's get into the house. Who's then the person that you're meeting in the house?
Loyo ke uhlangana naye ngaphandle. Ngaphakathi ke endlini ubani umuntu oqala owahlangana naye?
Angisakhumbula kodwa ngikhumbula ukuthi ngabona uSenzo ngoba ngiyasho ukuthi ngangena ekitchen ngadlula ngathi mangijikela ngase ngaka left shoot mangibuka ngaka right sorry mangibuka isithombe kanje ilanga ahlangana khona noSenzo ke phansi.
I can't remember, but I know that I met Senzo. I went through the kitchen and then I turned right, and then as I turned right, when I looked on my right hand side, that's where I saw Senzo lying down.
Thank you, sir. Now, exactly when you turned to your right, where did you see him? Or where was he?
I go pin and down.
Ukuthi le dining room ke la angazi ngoba be sketch a plan from ayikho lokho kuseduze la.
Ukuphi?
Ama couch lawo. Akukho isikhali esikanje.
Okay. Asondelene wona.
I couch nodonga lisondelene so ukuthi la libukeka ngathi kunodonga liswele kusithile angazi umyayiswa lento engisho.
When you look on the picture itself, the couches or the couch and the wall are close to each other, but now based on the sketch it is drawn differently. It looks like there's a huge gap.
Wow, okay, now let's simplify it. I'm going to request our colleague to beam us the sitting room situation. I think you're right, that color was also blindfolding me. Let's get to the sitting room. I don't know what photos are these, but yeah. Let's see the other one. The other one.
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
This one. Yes. I think that is photo number 56. Yeah. 57, yes. Down photo number 57. You turn from the kitchen arc and you're looking right into the sitting room where you were initially seated. Then where do you see Senzo?
Position. Please pick the picture up because that's it. La. Sukela la ukuza ngala.
Here,
Yeah.
from there,
So inyawo ngala ukuza umuntu emuteza ngala.
Yes.
it's the feet that is now on the mat itself, and then the whole body coming towards this side. That is now the bottom part of the picture.
Yes. And then you said immediately you went to him, and then you had this other body from one of the sleeping rooms. You went there to assess him, but then you went back to Senzo, who was still sleeping there.
Umusu ubuya butumela waphindela khona ke kusenze owayisaleli khona lapho.
Yebo ayiphansi.
Yes, he was on the floor.
That is at a point where you then lifted his white shirt and realized that he has got a wound on his sternum.
Wase uphakamisa ke iskipa ila ubona khona ke ukuthi unenxeba.
Yebo kunoma sakho ukuthi ngaliphakamisa kuqala before ngokutumela noma but ngaphakamisa ngabona inxeba lala likhona.
Yes, what I just can't remember well is whether I did that before I went to Tumela or after I came back from Tumela, but I remember seeing the wound, yes.
Yes. Now, I assume, or will I be correct to assume that when you came back, you were now in the company of Tumelo?
Umusu ubuya ke manje uhamba noTumelo.
Bese ubuya kumvulela.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
After you had opened
Yes.
the room
Yeah.
where he was.
Yes.
And then immediately thereafter, what then happened? Did other people get into their house or what happened?
Emuva kwalokho ke ngabe kwangena abanye abantu endlini noma kwenzekani?
Yebo bekhona abantu abesendlini njengoba ngishilo ukuthi ngiyakhumbula ukuthi kakhona nomakhelwane khona owazi wathi fonela namaphoyisa omunye noma kakusa uyena lo wathi ngoba usaphila mphuthumisene esibhedlela. That's when vele sasesimqubula nathi ke in assistance abafana baka next door, umfana ka next door no Tumelo nabanye abafana abesebekhona kakusegcwele nje kodwa.
Yes, there were people, because as I said that even the neighbors were there. I remember the other one saying because he's still alive, called the police. That's when he then picked him up as well as other young men, even the one from the neighbors.
Now, at the time when, now you're saying at the time at which you picked him from that very same spot that you have shown there, already the boy from Ngache's family was there, and he also assisted you to pick him up from that very same spot.
Uthi ke kulokho ke nalo wakwanqatheke wayesekhona naye wakusiza ukumphakamisa khona lapho.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you then took him straight to the Moravia Highkill, which is now the access.
Namhamse emotweni.
Yebo.
Yes.
Okay. You know the reason why I'm asking you this, because this court has heard from Mr. Ngache, that's now young Ngache, that when he got into the house, can you please go back to the sketch plan? When he got into the house, he found Senzo lying at that opening that leads to the I think it's an opening of the kitchen that leads into the main what do they call it now? It's a corridor. No, wait.
Yeah.
Yes, he found him lying there, and he was just alone there. There was nobody that was assisting him.
Imbangela ukuthi ngikubuzeke lo mbuzo ngoba lo wakwanqatheke ukhaya uthi uma ibuya yena ke wambona khona lapha yala ubukhombe khona kungenamuntu omsizayo.
Cela ukuba nisho uthi wambona la kule ark le.
Did he say he saw him where the witness is pointing?
That's where.
That is exactly where he saw him, but more into the passage.
Uthi kakhulukazi epassage ni kuthi la ambona khona kungenamuntu eyedwa kungenamuntu omlekelelayo noma omsizayo.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi umfana waka Ngashe wangena after mina. So mina ngafikela kuyena uSenzo. The only time engasuka eduze kwaSenzo was when ngiyovulela uTumelo. Ngase ngibuyela kuyena uSenzo.
Yes.
I think the Ngache gentleman, a guy, came into the house, or he came into the house after me.
Yes.
And I found Senzo there. The only time I left Senzo was when I went to Tumelo to open for Tumelo, and then I came back to Senzo.
So angazi ke noma yena ungene ngalesikhathi ngisayovulela uTumelo ngibuya noma kodwa egcineni uSenzo wayinami phansi ngoba ithawula engangisebenzisa imina ngipress ngalelo thawula.
So I don't know whether he came in at the time when I had gone to assist Tumelo, but eventually I came back to Senzo, and the towel, I'm the one who was assisting Senzo using that towel.
Yes, Mr. Twala, that's not in dispute. By the point here being, you are saying when you came back from the Ngaches, when you got into the house, you found Senzo sleeping at the point at which you pointed this court, not so?
Kodwa ke okushoyo asiphikisi lo qedwe kusho kodwa okushoyo ukuthi wena wamthola elelikile yandawo wena oyikhombile angithi.
Yebo.
Yes.
And you further saying that there were other people in the house ultimately who assisted with the lifting of Senzo or to carry him into the Moravia Highkill that was standing outside, amongst others. Who assisted you to do so was the Ngache boy.
Uphinde uqhubekeke uthi wasizwa noma walekelwa abantu uqhubula uSenzo nemsemotweni. Phakathi kwalabo bantu ke kwakukhona ukhaya Ngache.
Yebo ngikushilo lokho.
Yes, I said
ngisasho futhi namanje. Yimina ngifike kuqala kunomfana wakaNqashi. Ngasiza uTumelo. Ngase ngibuyela kuSenzo. Abantu bese befika nje bengisho ukuthi kwase kuyogcwala abantu. Angisho ukuthi ngifike ngafica abantu abaningi or ngafica umfana wakaNqashi. Umfana wakaNqashi ufike emva kwami. Wase yangisiza equbuleni uSenzo. Kwase kufika nje bengisho ukuthi kwase kukhona nabantu ababefika nomakhelwane kwayibona abashoyo. So I was
Not that he got there before me. I got there before him. I then went to assist Tumelo. I came back. And then that's when the people came, as I said. Not that he got there before me.
I'm not suggesting that he could have arrived before you. That's the sequence that I'm trying to give you. that you arrived there after you had entered the house. You turn into your right, you realize that Senzo was sleeping at the point where you have pointed to this court. Then from there you had somebody knocking in one of the doors there. You went to assist him. You realized that it was Mr. Madlala, and then you went back to Senzo. He was still sleeping at that very same point. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now you are saying that there came a point where you then decide, there was a suggestion that Senzo should be taken to hospital because he was still alive, and others suggested that police should also be called, which is the right thing. When all that was happening, Senzo was still lying there, not so?
Khona konke lokho kukhulunywa ngepolice station, kukhulunywa ngamaphoyisa, kukhulunywa ngokuthi asiwe esibhedlela usaphila, kwenzeka lokho uSenzo usalele kuleya ndawo.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now people say, let us then take him out to the motor vehicle. And amongst those people who assisted you to take him from the point where he was lying is Mr. Ngache's son.
Kulabo bantu abakusiza ke noma babelekelela ke ukuthi kuqhutshule uSenzo kule ndawo elele kuyona ke asiwe emotweni ukhaya Ngache.
Not so?
Yebo.
Yes.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Ngache's son says indeed he assisted in carrying Senzo into the motor vehicle. But when he got into the house, he himself, he found Senzo lying just near that ark that gets into the kitchen. Not at the place where you have pointed out to this court. And when you got there, Senzo was lying there alone, unattended to.
Ubona ke lokho ke uNgache ke vele walekelela ukusa uSenzo emotweni kodwa ke akushoyo ukuthi uma ngabe yena efika ke uSenzo wayengaleli kule ndawo wena ke ikhombile kodwa eleli khona lapha yana ke kule ndawo beshiyo yena ngaphambilini kungenamuntu omlekelelayo.
Without being disrespectful kulabantu omnini womuzi ngaleli la ngisho khona ngibe ngikubuzile nami kwasekuqaleni wathi by the ark ngakwi passage ngoba ngifuna ukucacisa lokho ukuthi njoba ngishilo nami ukuthi inyawo zaSenzo zazi lapha ngakumada kodwa ubude bakhe bude buzofika ngase passage.
Bambe lapho. Without being disrespectful to the people of the house or the people there, I did explain as to how Senzo was laying, that his feet were on the mat, but his head or the entire body was stretching up to the passage.
Engizama ukusho ukuthi lo muzi akubona umuzi omkhulu ungathi mhlawumbe umuzi wangalelo hall, umuzi omncane lo uSenzo mude ucisha abe height yakho.
What I'm then saying is that that's not a big house, that's a small house, and Senzo is tall. He's
Yes.
almost your height.
Yeah, I'm 2.2 meters tall. So he could be plus minus 2 meters, you know.
Yeah,
when you say almost.
keep.
Yes. No, in other words, what I'm trying to say to you is that what you are saying is not exactly what Mr. Ngache's son is saying, because I understood you to mean that Senzo was lying near the sofa. As Mr. Ngache said, he was just at the kitchen ark that gets into the passage.
Lokho kushoyo asikona lokho ebekhulunywa ukhaya Ngache. Wena ukuthi beseduze ngamasofa yena ebethi nje beseduze neark yase kitchen.
Yet again bengizoba nenkinga mhlawumbe kube bengithe mina uSenzo ubelele kitchen bengizobona ukuthi hayi cha lapho angeke uze kwazi.
Yes.
So I passage ne dining it's almost the same place. Cisho bendaba yodwa even though ngingekho exact ukuthi ikuphi, but it's almost the same place ngoba lo muzi muncane kakhulu. Mhlawumbe bengithe uSenzo ubelele kitchen mangena that's ke mhlawumbe ngakudisputa lokho, but lokho okushoyo ukuthi passage no dining room kumina ngibona ku almost the same thing ngoba in la cishe ngimthole khona naye usho the very same place ukuthi nje ku different ngesibale esincane.
We are saying exactly the same thing, myself and Kaya. If that is what you are disputing, it would have been an issue if I had said he was in the kitchen. The kitchen, the dining room, and the passage and the dining room is almost the same place.
Let's go further. He further says that at the time when he got into the house, at that same spot where he said, not your spot, where he said he found Senzo. Senzo was lying alone there. Nobody was attending to him. And you are saying you had been with Senzo there at a point where you had pointed out to this court.
Aphinde futhi ke athi wena uthi wawumsiza yena uthi kwakungenamuntu owayemsiza.
Yabona ke lapho futhi ngibuya lento engishilo ukuthi what if ungene ngesikhathi ngisayovulela uDumelo, obviously uSenzo ube yedwa ngaleso sikhathi, then ngase ngabuya mina ngaya kuyena, ngeke ngize ngingene endlini ngimbone uSenzo elimele bese ngenzani shothi ngihamba ngayohlala etoilet mhlawumbe understand ngoba nami lokho engikushoyo ngangizomiyekela nomngane nami ngimbone elimele la.
It goes back to what I said that maybe when he came in, it's when I had gone to assist Dumelo. Because there was no way I was going to go into the house, leave my friend as I see that he is hurt, and maybe do what? Go and sit in the toilet.
Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Madlala. But I'm putting it to you that...
Twala. Mr. Twala.
Excuse me?
Mr. Twala.
Not Madlala, you said Madlala.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, my apologies, Mr.
No
Twala.
problem.
I'm putting it to you, Mr. Twala, that as the questions are coming, you are trying to tailor your version that is contradictory to what Mr. Ngache has said to suit the narrative that you are trying to give to this court.
Is there any basis for making this breathtaking statement to the witness? We submit that there isn't
You're
the
saying
basis.
there's no
for
basis. Just for my edification, is it material whether Senzo was lying in the dining room right next to the TV, or he was lying towards the passage and the ark? Does it make any difference? Because the fact of the matter is, the witnesses all say he was shot. Now, even if he was in the bedroom, does it make any difference to the case we are handling here? He was skit. He was shot. All of us listening to the evidence, we all heard that he was shot inside the house, in the kitchen, and I'm saying, like the witness is saying, it's a small house. When you are in the passage and the dining room, the other day I said the way I see it, when you put your leg apart from the kitchen, you are in the passage. Thereafter, dining room.
Thank you.
Thereafter, the ark. If it's material, fine, you can pursue that aim.
I'm not so sure whether the court has already made a prima facie view that these contradictions are not material.
No, that's why I said
yes.
If it is material,
yes,
you can continue on that line.
Which is the...
Hello?
I'm sorry, my lord.
You can continue on the same line if it is material for your defense, fine.
Which is the reason why, my lord, I'm putting it to him.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure what is then the basis of an objection, in the sense that what are the basis of that statement, because I've demonstrated that what Mr. Ngache said and what this witness is saying
it's different.
Exactly not the same thing.
Yes,
whether
course.
that is material or not for the court to decide.
Yeah, fine.
Yes.
I hear you. Mr.
The substance of the objection was that he's putting to the witness that he's tailoring his evidence.
Oh, tailoring the evidence.
Yes, that's.
Oh, so you say he must explain why he's making that assertion.
Yes, indeed,
that this witness is tailoring his version.
Indeed.
Okay. Mr. Mnisi.
My lord, the witness says initially that Senzo is lying next to the sofas there, next to the couches. But as the questions are coming up, then he starts by saying, and then he comes up with a version that says, no, Senzo was tall. Part of Senzo's body was lying on the couches. Part of Senzo's body was lying near the ark. When initially, in his evidence in chief, that was never said. That was never put to this court, and I can also assume that this court is sharing that version for the first time. Not so. That is the basis why I'm saying that as the case progresses or as cross-examination goes on, this witness is tailoring his evidence to suit a particular narrative that he has come to deliver to this
Okay.
court. My lord. Thank you, my lords.
Yes, let's continue.
I said to you, Mr. Twala, basically I would have had 2 questions. Let me go back to my 2 questions, or 1 or 2 questions.
As you please.
Yes. You would recall that in the course of the investigation of this case, you were requested to come and assist with a compilation of an identity kit, which would have assisted the investigators to look around to identify who the possible intruders were in this matter, not so?
Ushilo ke ukuthi kune ID kit owaya kuyona ke ukusiza amaphoyisa ukuthi atholeke ukuthi ubani ke noma bangaba ubani ke abambandakanyekayo kulolu cala.
Yebo.
Yes.
Now, you would recall, if I'm mistaken, this information that we got from the state, that in that course, you had a consultation with a police officer known as Warrant Officer A.Y. Steenkamp. I think it's a lady. Do you call that?
Kunomama ke Steenkamp owakhulumisana naye ke noma waba ne-interview nayo Steenkamp.
Yebo.
Yes.
Mama, yes.
It's a lady, yes.
I'm not so sure whether you recall the date, but in the documents that were submitted to us by the state, it is indicated that you had a consultation with her on the 29th of December 2014.
The 29th of December 2014.
Is that so?
Yes, that's
Yes.
true.
Thank you. Now, very briefly, I just want to put it to you. You said that throughout your evidence, and that's not in dispute, and in a number of statements, or in 1 or 2 of the statements that you also gave to the police, you testified that you were not in a position to identify the type of a firearm that the first intruder had in his possession, not so?
Ushilo ke kufakazi bakho bonke ke ukuthi ke isibhamu lesi awayesiphethe lona woqala ngeke ukwazi ukusichaza.
Yebo.
Yes.
However, and please understand me, Ms. Steenkamp wrote in her report that at the time at which she had this consultation with you, you made mention of the fact that the first intruder, who you described as a person having some dreadlocks, had a firearm which was an old revolver.
Kodwa ke kwabhalile yena uSteenkamp uthi wena wachazanga na njenge revolver endala.
Do you understand?
Yes.
That's what I'm putting to you. Is that what you told her?
Iloko wamtshela kona.
Angikhumbuli ngikusho lokho kodwa and the day ngakhuluma nesikhathi ngicina la ngaze ngangidide ukuthi kwa revolver yini revolver. Yena vele wayisebenzisa lelo gama le revolver but mina personally ngangayazi revolver angiyazi revolver mina.
I remember saying that. I also remember that on the last time that I was here when it was mentioned that I mentioned that I don't even know what a revolver is. Yes, she made mention of that name, but I personally don't know what kind of a firearm a revolver is.
She made mention of the word revolver. In what context did she mention it?
Uma uthi wayelisho yena lelo gama wayelisho uma kwenze njani noma kwakungani alisho.
I think umuntu mawumchazela mawuthi uyakubuza nje efuna ukwazi information kumina uzosebenzisa vele obviously ama type A bhamu afisa angibuza ukuthi mhlambe was it a revolver, was it AK or whatever uzosebenzisa lawo magama lawo awasebenzisayo.
When it is that she is asking me questions and she wants to understand, yes indeed she is going to make mention of the words in trying to establish from me which kind of a firearm it was, a revolver, an AK. So she is going to make mention of the names.
Because mina ngikwaziyo ngangimtshela ukuthi angizazi ibhamu.
What I know, which I told her, is that I know nothing about firearms, or I don't know firearms.
Let us not use parables, Mr. Twala. Let us be precise in what we're saying. What exactly, in what context, what exactly did Ms. Steenkamp say about this revolver? You said she made mention of a revolver. What did she say about this revolver? Let's take out the AK-47s and all other firearms. What exactly did she say about this revolver?
Asiyeke ezinye ibhamu lezo ishilo kama AK kodwa yini ke awayeyisho nanjengoba usho ukuthi ke akuyigama wayelisebenzisa vele yena wayelisebenzisa ethini ngayo irevolver.
Angeke ngize ngisakhumbula ukuthi wayikhuluma ethini ngerevolver.
I won't be able to remember.
Ngoba engikuchazela kona ufuna ukudispute ngithi so angeke ngize akukho okuzodlula lokho ke.
Because you are disputing what I'm saying, so nothing will be above that. Because I won't be able to remember exactly as to what it is that she was saying about the revolver.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi mhlambe yena ke usengeza ke mhlambe yena achazeke yena ukuthi wayengichazela kanjani.
I think that maybe she would then have to come and explain as to how she said it to me.
Before she comes, Mr. Twala, we need to get your vision. Understand, you are the one who is saying Ms. Steenkamp, in the course of the interview that she had with you, is the one who mentioned a revolver. Now, I want to know from you, in what context, what is it that you are saying about the revolver? How did she use the word revolver in the context of the interview that she had with you? What did she say was wrong with this revolver?
Wayethi yini wrong ngale revolver?
Njengoba ngisho ukuthi angisakhumbuli kahle ukuthi sit down yami nayo uMrs Steenkamp yayithini. Engikushoyo ngoba wena ungibuze ngegama le revolver. Ngathi igama le revolver lali mention nawo yena ngoba engichazela ngizothini inhlobo zezibhamu ngoba ngangimtshenela ukuthi angizazi ibhamu mina. So obviously igama le revolver lasuka lapho. He has a making mention kuwena ukuthi wayesho ukuthi is a revolver, is it an AK, is it what? So angazi ukuthi mina wayifu igama le revolver ke lingena kanjani ke lapho yazalibhala statement kodwa yena walisha igama le revolver kumina.
I don't know as to how my sit down was with her, but as you were asking me and you made mention of the word revolver, yes. I was then explaining that she was then asking about or mentioning the different types of firearms. So I don't know as to how the word of the revolver then came in trying to clarify or find out to me the weapon that was used.
Hence ngisho ukuthi mhlawumbe yena mayisefika ke yena uyoclarify lokho ngoba nami ngiyasho ukuthi sengikhohliwe kangangenze ngikhumbule yonke into. Bathi ke ngiyazama ngayo yonke indlela ukuthi ngikuphendule lo mbuzo.
And so I'm saying that when she comes, she will then clarify because I won't be able to remember everything and I am trying to answer that question.
You're saying that the word revolver, she's the one who actually introduced it in the context of your conversation. Do I understand you? Well, in that regard.
Uthi uyena owalisebenzisa lelo gama kuyinkulumo enani nayo.
Yebo,
ngiyakusho lokho. I can say that.
Njengomuntu ozaziyo yena ibhamu.
As someone who's familiar with firearms.
When she introduced it, what is it that she wanted to try and find out from you when she introduced this word revolver?
Umesebenzisa lelo gama ethi revolver kwakuyini awayenesifiso sokuyazi kuwena uma ngaba eveza lelo gama le revolver?
Muhle lo mbuzo odubuza umuntu wrong kufanele ubuze yena.
That's a good question but you're asking it to the wrong person. You can maybe put it to her.
Ukuthi yini la ifuna ukuthi isho njengoba usho ukuthi what was she trying to,
as you are saying, as to what it is that she was trying to establish.
You're saying you consistently kept on telling her that you do not know the types of firearm. All that you know is that this person who was the first intruder had a firearm. Is that what you're saying?
Ubuqhubeka njalo nje usho kuyena ukuthi inhlobo zezibhamu uzazi kodwa kwazi ukuthi lo woqala wangena wayephethe isibhamu.
Yebo.
Yes.
And yet, despite that explanation of yours, she went on to write here that in terms of in terms of what the first suspect had in his possession, you said he had an old revolver. Despite the explanation that you said no, you can't actually describe the type of firearm that the suspect had in his possession. Not so.
Kodwa ke noma kunjalo ukushilo wena lokho kushilo kodwa yena umebhala phansi ubhala irevolver endala.
Oh, revolver. njengoba usho nje now. Yes.
As you say, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Twala. I'm putting it to you, Mr. Twala, that there's no way in which a person who could not have been in the house on that day in question would simply assume or thumbsuck information and put it in such an important document. You are the one who told him, her. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jonas.
Akwenzeki-ke noma angeke kwenzekeke ukuthi umuntu owayengekho endlini angabhala phansi lento ayibhalileke noma ayincele esithupheni ukuthi abhale lokho akubhalile kodwa yena-ke kwakuwumuntu owayengekho endlini without.
I'm putting it to you that all the information that is contained in this so important document is information that you got from you.
Konke lokho akubhalileke kuleya document ayiphetheke u-advocate Mnisi ukuthi information le awayithola kuwena.
Engakusho ukuthi kona kulokho angeke uzusho ukuthi umuntu wayengekho endlini lapha akazi ukuthi orubhale into ayibhalile ngoba bakhona babengekho endlini kodwa bakhuluma izinto ezazingekho abafuna nami ngivuma izinto ezazingekho.
What you are saying now is that there is no way or it is impossible for someone who was not in the house could have written that, but there are people who were in the house who are saying, sorry, my apologies, who were not in the house, who are saying their own things, who want me to admit to things that they say yet they were not in the house.
Hence Mr. Steenkamp engikushoyo ukuthi mhlambe yena uzoza ukuthi azoclarify ezinye izinto ngoba nje bengisho ukuthi okunye angisakukhumbuli osasikhuluma lapha angimphikisi angiphiki nami kodwa ngakho ngithi naye uzoza azoclarisha lezi zinto eyishoyo zama revolver nantontoni.
As I'm saying that then Mrs. Steenkamp will then come to court and clarify the issues that you are mentioning about the revolvers and what. I am not disputing it or saying what, but hence I'm saying that maybe she would come and clarify those things.
Now, Mr. Twala, I don't want us to go around in circles. Now, just now you're saying you're not disputing what she's saying. Do I understand you well, that you don't dispute what she's saying?
Kodwa ukuthi ke manje uthi awungeke umphikise noma uthinike
ngiphendula
okay yep
ngiphendula from lento content yento oyishoyo wena yokuthi uthi umuntu wayengekho endlini angafike abhale into engekho. That's why ngiqale ngakutshela ukuthi bakhona ababengekho endlini ababefuna mina personally ngivuma izinto ezazingekho.
I am answering that based on the context of what you've just said to me, which is then why I am saying that there are people who were not in the house yet wanted me to admit to things.
Hence ngisho ukuthi uMrs. Steenkamp ngiyacela ke nami ukuthi ayizele la enkantolo uzofika clarify ngoba ngithi nganginayo sobabili. So mina lokho engikushoyo makuthi awukuzwa wena uzoza lokho akushoyo ke yena ke esela enkantolo.
Hence I am then making this request that maybe Ms. Steenkamp should come and then clarify. Isn't it that you don't get or take what I am saying? Maybe you will then understand or accept what she is saying or she would be saying.
When it comes to legality revolve ngoba obviously you are a defense so you understand.
When it comes to the word revolver, because clearly you are a defense, I understand.
No, as I'm standing here just for your information, I'm not a defense, I'm an officer of this court. I'm here to assist the court to come to a just and equitable finding in respect of this case. I'm not here to defend anything. I'm here as an officer of this court. But that was just for your own information. No, he says you must interpret that to him.
I understand.
Go on, Mr. Mnisi.
No, I'm fine. Now, Mr. Twala, still on the issue of the revolver, I know what I'm going to put to you here. You're not privy to that information. But this is what is also happening. The investigating officer, Mr. Kininda, when he approached a magistrate to apply for a warrant of arrest against all these accused persons here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He penned or he he submitted an affidavit, that is statement under oath, where he also says in that affidavit of his that one of the intruders, the gentleman who had dreadlocks, who had a firearm in his possession when he got into the house, had a revolver in his possession.
Lana ke ukutshela ke ngalokho okwenziwa uyena ke umseshi noma umphenyi ke waleli cala uGininda noma ke uBrigadier Gininda wathi uma eseya kwimantshi noma ke eyobona imantshi eyokwenza ke isicelo salokhu ke abathi i-warrant of arrest ukugunyaziswa ke ukuboshwa kwabo abasolwa bonke laba abaphambi kwalenkantolo unencwadi ke efungelo lena abathi affidavit awayenza ke ethi ke omunye walabo abangena endlini lona owayenama dreadlocks futhi ke ephethe isibhamu wayephethe i-revolver mayokama yinto leyo ebhalwe kuleyo affidavit yakhe uBrigadier Gininda.
So as I've said, you might not be privy.
I'm sorry,
my colleague.
to interrupt. Can perhaps counsel just produce that affidavit, show it to the witness and say in this paragraph, this is what Gininda is saying, unlike, just making such a general statement. Scott, please.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
I'll do that, my lord.
When?
I'm going to do it now.
Oh, fine.
But I'm not so sure whether should I understand that objection as an insinuation that is not the case. Because from where I am seated and I understand the basis of this objection is that it could be that affidavit is not there, and it is an affidavit that was discovered to us by the state. I would expect the state to be privy to that information, but let me do it, my lord. Thank you. As it is the court, my lord.
What's you say it was discovered, that affidavit?
Yes, it was discovered by the state.
Yeah, fine. What annexure is it?
I'm not so sure whether it's part of the annexures, my lord, but
How
that's...
can you discover it if it's not?
My lord?
How can Mr. Baloyi discover it if he hasn't itemized it?
It's a statement, my lord. It's the content of the docket. It could not have been part of the exhibits, my lord, because it's the content of the document that was made available to us as we prepared for this trial, my lord. And I'm referring to A198, that's A198 of Force Lores case. Force Lores case 636-10 of 2014. I'm not so sure if my colleague has got that paper or it's got that information. Now on page, unfortunately this affidavit is not numbered, but I think it's on page number, it's 1, 2, 3. I think it's paragraph 3. Paragraph 3 is subdivided into semi-paragraphs. Specifically on subparagraph 3.3.
3.3.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Now he says, paragraph 3.3, my lord, he says, and I'm going to read into the record, my lord. He says, the photos that were found on his cell phone memory showed him wearing the same clothing that were identified by witnesses on the day of the incident as as the person carrying a revolver upon entering the house. This affidavit was commissioned on the 3rd of October 2020, and the commissioner being Batubakaye Belina Mohola, who is a sergeant, designation a police officer, and he was commissioned at Troya Sanasai Police Station.
I've listened. The question was, or the request was, to show it.
Indeed, we are aware of that affidavit.
That's all.
Just saying, just point out the relevant portions
That's
to the
it.
witness.
That was the request by Mr. Baloyi, that show the witness the affidavit.
I don't have any reason why should I show this witness an affidavit, madam.
Oh, you would prefer-
Is it not sufficient if I
Okay, fine.
if I've read the content of this affidavit into the record to why should it really be necessary for me to say, Mr. Witness, this is the affidavit, can you read? What if this witness does not even know how to read, my lord? Those who have not yet established this level of education, except for the fact that he was editing a book, he edited a book. But in essence, what I'm trying to say, my lord, is that what I'm putting to this witness is not information that I'm sucking.
No, fine. So you're
Which
not,
is
you're not going to show the witness?
Yes.
Yeah, fine, no problem.
Yes. I'm then not so sure whether my colleague is happy now about the fact that Mr. Kininda said what I've put to this witness, because that was the gist. I'm not so sure if he's happy.
I thought,
As we indicated, the basis of the objection was that when you put a proposition to a witness, you show the witness the relevant portion for that witness to comment. That's all that we are asking.
As it is the court, my lord, I think to put this matter beyond doubt, which is actually the functionality of the state here, to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt, may I, with the leave of court, show this witness the portion that I've referred to?
I thought both of you are officers of the court. You and Mr. Baloyi, and you are here to assist this court to establish the truth.
Excuse me, my lord.
I said, I thought both of you are officers of this court.
That's correct, ma'am.
And you would agree how to go about establishing the truth, assisting the court.
Exactly, my lord. Which
Now,
is
I want to argue. I'm not going to show you. I'm going to read it.
yes, my lord. Which is the reason why.
And ultimately, you show him.
Yes. Which is the reason why, my lord, I'm a bit perturbed on the basis of the objection by the state, which is the reason why I actually indicated earlier on. Is it then suggested that the information that I'm putting to this witness is not correct?
Okay, Mr. Minister.
As it is a court, my lord. Are you
Futhi naye
happy, sir?
ke leyakubonisa yena ke noma akufundela yona izithombe ezatholakala kumakhalekhukhwini wakhe noma kumemory yayo ke zikhombisa yena ke noma zimtshengisa egqoke impahla ekuyizona lezi ke akhonjwa ngazo awofakazi ngalelo langa lesigameko nanjengomsolwa ephethe i-revolver nkathi engena endlini uthi istatement ke sika Gininda lesi.
I know.
Should I reply?
Excuse me.
Should I reply?
As I've said, as I've said in my prelude, that you might not be privy to this information, because when Kininda penned that affidavit, you were not there. If you've got a comment, you can comment. If you don't have, you can simply say, I don't have a comment.
Nanjengoba wawungekho nkathi.
Comment uzoyizela yini uGinini?
Gininda will come himself, no comment.
Thank you, sir.
Kushi editor.
Says the editor.
My lord, I had indicated that I would only be having 2 questions. That is the end of my 2 questions.
Okay.
Thank you, my lord. I've got
you.
no further questions to this witness. Thank you, my lord.
Was it 2?
Excuse me.
Yes.